Devika? Great, perfect. So a very warm welcome to everyone to this webinar today. This is the Inspiration webinar series. As you all know, we have rebranded a little bit our introduction slide, and today we'll be joined by Mr. Vidyashankar, who's the CEO of Network of Indian Cultural Enterprises, who is also a sponsor on ISPIC 2021. We'll also have Eric. We already have Eric, Mr. Eric Batliwala with us, who's the Senior Manager for Programs at CIECO. CIECO, as you know, has been engaging with startups and entrepreneurs and supporting them to accelerate their ideas, incubate their ideas, raise funding, strategically advise entrepreneurs on key areas of innovation, etc. So we are very glad to have them as our organizing partner, CIECO. And obviously from GFI India team, it's me, Shardul Dabir, who's I'm currently working as an innovation specialist with the GFI India team, and we have Devika, who's our innovation associate at GFI India. We're really excited here for the phase 3 introductory webinar. As you all know, it's all about inspired action because you've been kind of participating in the Inspiration webinar series in phase 2, but the schedule that is already shared with you, as you know, we have a series of sessions lined up for you in phase 3. This is the first one. We'll have a short kind of winter Christmas break where you can work on your proposals a little better, and then we'll get started with the rest of the thematic sessions throughout January, so that you can submit your final proposals by 30th of Jan. Having said that, really quickly jumping into the key sponsors and title sponsor for ISPIC 2021, Capri Global, NICE, Alchem Foundation, CIECO, and our supporting partners from academia and research organizations, and our smart protein ecosystem partners from the industry. We are really glad to be working with all of them on this Inspiration webinar series. You'll see a lot of speakers from these organizations taking expert sessions over the next month as well, and a lot of other members from our GF Ideas India community, from our smart protein ecosystem, also some global experts coming and speaking about different areas which would help you, ideate a little bit better with inspired thinking, inspired action, and hopefully you have some sort of an actionable plan in place for phase 4, where you'll be kind of further refining it for the demo day. So that's the journey. As you all know, we know that track 1 is about innovation, working on specific scientific problem statements, which we are very excited to see and read your proposals and kind of understand what kind of thinking you've been developing over the past 2-3 months that you've been with the challenge, having gone through the phase 1 of the challenge, which is the Smart Protein Digital Lab certification. So, and track 2 is obviously about entrepreneurship and existing startups, and startups and entrepreneurs finding some sort of tangible value in terms of getting connected to the right folks, probably finding talent for their own startups, connecting with scientific and business experts through the cohort, outside of the cohort, and in the community as well. At the same time, hopefully, you're prepared. At the end of the demo day, some of the startups who are prepared are also able to get connected with various international accelerators, incubators, raise funding, and take their products to market. That is kind of the goal of track 2, right? Having said that, phase 3, as you know, is about inspiration, as I was saying, and we actually wanted to choose, 15 to 25 teams in each of the tracks. So on those lines, we have selected almost 53 teams, as you know, to go into phase 3, and they'll now work on 15 or 25 page, depending on tracks, kind of proposals. And you already have the evaluation criteria, and you already know the prize pool that is at stake at the end of demo day, which is up to 20 lakhs for up to 20 teams. So depending on how many good quality demo day teams we get, let's just say 10 each, then there would be 10 each, prizes in each of the phases. Having said that, for for track 2, if you're an existing startup versus your upcoming startup, we'll kind of think of how to distribute the prizes between those 2 categories within track 2, depending on the kind of proposals we get. Having said that, really quickly, just taking a look at the things you already know. The timelines have been running slightly late by a couple of weeks, but we are here in phase 3, and we have basically been doing a lot, right? We've been learning about the sector. We have attended a few sessions, office hours. We have interacted with experts till now in phase 2. We've worked on those executive summary type 5-page proposals now, so that you have some concrete idea as a team of what you're working on. That was supposed to give you a starting base where you can expand on your ideas and build actionable either research proposals or business plans or similar kind of outputs or materials from it. So hopefully the process has been helping you. The 3 key technology areas of plant-based, cultivated, and fermentation that we have on the challenge. This is the supply chain. Everybody in this room is currently working on some of these areas, right? Maybe some of you are working on distribution, etc. as well, like a couple of proposals are. So I just wanted to give you a quick snapshot of the total number of people here in phase 3, right? So we have called, like I said, 53 proposals from the almost 250 people who qualified for phase 2, or 53 teams or proposal, whatever you want to call it. And that's almost 150 people, right? So that's the cohort size in phase 3 now. As you can see, we started with 750 people. We filtered it down to 150 people now, based on, the kind of submissions, participation, multiple other factors that, were as part of the evaluation criteria. And then in track 1, which is the innovation track, we have 29 teams. For track 2, which is the entrepreneurship track, we have 24 teams, which is almost 81 and 68 people. So, quite a healthy mix between both tracks. At the same time, plant-based for track 1, we have almost 62 people, and track 2, we have 30. So, here we have a little bit of more focus on people choosing plant-based, which makes sense because more products are in the market. There are probably more people aware from food technology, agriculture background right now about the plant-based meat sector because of more products in the market, etc., etc. At the same time, there are almost almost 70 odd people in cultivated and fermentation track 1 and track 2 as well, as part of the challenge, which is a very, very healthy number. As you know, this is the first time we are doing fermentation and cultivated kind of technology areas for the challenge. So we are very excited that in the first year itself, we have received researchers, students, and entrepreneurs working on these areas for fermentation and cultivated meat, eggs, and dairy, and fermented proteins, etc. Having said that, we have a representation from almost 24 states, which is very, very exciting, and almost 60 cities. So today you'll probably understand, if you ask people, right, in the networking session where you're from, you'll kind of see a lot of variety coming in, because when I was kind of going through the data, and which is already shared with you, you'll see that people across India from multiple states are thinking about food, right, as a concept, and then they're applying those insights, the use of different ingredients, the use of different backgrounds and education they've had. Maybe a chemical engineer is thinking about their proposal in a different way than an agriculture engineer, versus the kind of themes that we saw with people having a business background or MBA background. So I'm really glad that you have created diverse teams and are able to interact with each other and share ideas. And hopefully today's session would kind of would be one of the many upcoming ones where you are able to do this informally on your own as well, in your own time. And we have representation of more than 100 unique universities, colleges, organizations, and existing startups. So that's quite useful as well, right? Because you don't know what kind of infrastructure exists at some XYZ university. Maybe you're thinking about doing a master's at a separate university. Maybe you're an entrepreneur and you want to get connected with students or researchers in a particular university. So we really hope that your cohort is able to help you with a lot of these things going forward as well. And it's just not another Slack community, but people are actively using it to get connected with each other and understand perspectives of people, to refine your own proposals during phase 3 and phase 4. Yeah, so hopefully you use the Slack group to do that. And with that, I'd love to invite Mr. Eric to share his presentation to begin with, right? So that we can have a quick understanding of what CIECO does, and what their role has been, why they've partnered up with GFI India on the India Smart Protein Innovation Challenge, and what kind of smart protein startups they might have been interacting with, and what kind of post-talent support, etc. they can offer you. Having said that, if you have any questions for Eric, we'll love to take them towards the end of the session. Eric will be going through a lot of the rooms. And we can also take them before we actually create the breakout rooms. But for the time being, please submit them through the chat function. Any questions you might have, and we'll just collect them towards the end. Thank you. Eric, on to you.
Thanks, Shardul. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible.
Thanks, Shardul. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me here. And firstly, before I share my screen, I'll just give a quick introduction about myself. So I'm Eric. I am from the Seed and Acceleration team of CI.co. So what I do at CI.co is I lead and design incubation and acceleration programs, and I also support startups which are inducted into CI.co through these programs. Support in the sense of any connects that require anything, any portfolio support larger for them is what I do. And with this, I'll just share my screen to give you a basic understanding about CI.co and then what we do. And then we can take up sessions or even one-to-one sessions, whatever is required. Shadu, can you see my screen?
Yes, please continue.
Yeah. So CI.co, we are based out of IIM Ahmedabad. And just a second, yes. So we started out as an entrepreneurship center out of IIM Ahmedabad, and then we grew into CI.co, which we term as an innovation continuum, which is a continuum of different legal entities, partners, initiatives, which I'll be talking about as well in the next part of the presentation. Our shared mission is to support fearless entrepreneurs creating game-changing solutions varied across different stages and sectors. So we look onto the entire spectrum of solutions ranging from idea stage to early stage, which are prototypes, to commercialization stage, as well as we look into the growth stage, which is a revenue generating stage for the startups as well. When it comes to sectors, we operate across sectors, namely healthcare, agri-tech, clean tech, space tech, defense tech, ed tech, and other sectors as well. Uh, Coming to the next slide, which is the current initiatives or the different as the continuum that we termed CI.co as. So we have different initiatives. We do seed investments and grants at to tune of around 70 to 80 lakhs, and we also co-invest in startups ongoing rounds with other marquee investors as well. We have a Bharat Inclusion Initiative, which is a focus into inclusion as well, into financial inclusion. We have physical incubators based out of Jaipur, Indore, and Rajasthan, wherein when we promote regional incubation. We do sectoral deep dives and research studies through our research wing. And we also have set up a Bharat Innovation Fund, so that looks into deep tech innovations and deep tech startups. We have some acceleration programs that we do to support startups and to help startups through seed grants or seed investments. InnoCity is one of our initiative, which is an on-demand incubation platform wherein startups can get mentorship or get or take into sessions. It is mostly for regional incubation as well. And we have also got a physical incubator based out of IIM Ahmedabad, which is the CI.co building in the IIM Ahmedabad new campus. Please do visit us whenever you are in Ahmedabad as well. Just to give out a timeline of from where we started in 1998, we were conceptualized as the IIM as the innovation center for IIM Ahmedabad, and in 2002 we did a CI was set up as an academic center, and along the years we did the first innovation crowdsourcing program. Then we did a solar innovation program, and in 2008 CI Initiatives as a legal entity was born. And that time we also launched a book which was Stay Hungry Stay Foolish, which was the pilot and we did a pilot batch of our first accelerator as well. We also did India's largest B plan contest, which was the Power of Ideas in partnership with Economic Times. Then we set up the India's first energy focus, a clean energy focused venture fund, which was Infuse Ventures. And we launched the regional incubation in 2014, named Startup OSS in partnership with RICO in Rajasthan. Then InnoCity, and then in 2019 we rebranded ourselves to CI.co and termed this as the Innovation Continuum. So we have till date we have the leadership team, which is based out of different parts of India, and each of them have around more than 15 to 20 years of experience in their respective fields as well. We have presence across India in Ahmedabad, in Jaipur. We have also opened our startup hub in Indore as well now, and there are teams working out of different centers in Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, Chennai. just to give a snapshot of how it has been for us till now. So we have funded 160 plus startups, and we have mentored more than 5,000 startups and accelerated and trained startups through our programs, through our different boot camps. And we have around 30 plus profitable exits from startups till now. These are some of the success stories Razorpay for us. And giving you some of the recent success stories are Unbox Robotics, which was just raised a follow-on round as well, and they have a robotics platform, robotics development for warehousing. We also another success story is Agnicool, which is in a space tech startup which just launched their rocket this time. And we have Greenway Grameen as well. And we are really glad to partner with GFI, and we have been excited to see teams from very exciting teams with innovative solutions as well. And there are some of the amazing techs and amazing solutions that we've also seen. My team has also interacted with some of the teams that have been shortlisted, and we would be excited to work with them as well. And we are looking forward to interacting with each of these teams. And in the end, we have just congratulate Shardul and the entire team of GFI to organizing this event, and just wish good luck to all the teams.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you for that short presentation. We're really glad to have CIECO as our organizing partner. I was telling participants in the chat as well that Femto-Farad and ProEon are two startups, right, which are currently being supported, and two success stories. In fact, multiple other demo day teams from last year have been in touch, and I'm hoping that more startups from the challenge after the demo day is over are also able to connect. Not just the top teams. Maybe you are one of the few teams which is probably going to have a plan in place after a few months after the challenge. So be in touch with Eric and the team at CIECO, and you should be able to basically be able to interact with them. Any questions so far for Eric? Otherwise, we can reserve them for the end. But if you have any questions, please raise your hand and you can just come on to screen. You can ask your question, and we can take it from there. So
just to add on to Shardul, so we had worked closely with Femto-Farad as well. We supported them through another program as well, which was a mentorship program, but it helped them clearing their basics and laying a foundation. So we always would like to help the teams any way possible.
So on that note, I have a couple of questions which would be clarifying for the attendees as well. Maybe you can run us through, for example, few of the, so Femto-Farad is one, ProEon is another, yes, right? Like maybe you can tell us a little bit about what kind of support you were able to provide these two startups in their respective journeys. I know they were at different stages, but you can also talk about maybe similar FMCG or food processing or related food tech area or technology area kind of companies or startups in your portfolio, and what kind of different steps or different areas you're able to help them. Mentorship was an example.
So mentorship is one example. So we had some startups in the cloud kitchen space as well. So the setting up the startup, it's not just mentorship, but also helping them with the mindset of prototyping, any help which they can get in prototyping, or any help which they can get in business connects, which is a very important part. And we also help in a little bit of a business function area as well. So rather than the mentorship business functions, I would also say that any partner programs that we partner with, we also ensure that we recommend these startups who are in touch with us to these programs, so they can also take advantage from it.
Got it. Makes sense. Yeah, no, thank you so much. And I think from what I understand, you also help people understand about their fundraising, needs and pipeline, and kind of help them, some sort of hand-holding support in terms of what investors would be interested and at what stage, what kind of investment would be needed, etc. So you'll learn more about this, by the way, through some of the sessions we've planned with CIECO. We have a few exciting speakers joining from the ecosystem as well on some of the sessions more oriented towards track 2. So keep a track of those and do attend those sessions in for specific questions that you might have around some of these things. But thank you so much, Eric. We'll take on any more questions, and you'll be able to interact with the candidates in the breakout rooms as well after a while. Perfect. Thank you. We are really glad to have you with us, Vidya. So just to give you a quick recap, we've been introducing the cohort about phase 3, and we just heard from Eric, who presented about CICO and the kind of support they could extend to some of the startups and entrepreneurs and perhaps people thinking of starting their own ideas and commercializing them in the near future. So a very warm welcome to Vidya, who's the CEO, like I said, of NICE and Network of Indian and Cultural Enterprises. So we'd love to hear his thoughts about what NICE does, how he's able to, for example, interact and support more entrepreneurs or startups going forward, what kind of their focus areas are. We've been partnered up with NICE, and they've been our sponsors for the challenge, and they, outrightly had a focus on indigenous crops, which was quite exciting to see, which is one of our key verticals as well. A lot of you are working on, indigenous sources and ingredients and protein-rich crops for making your meat, eggs, and dairy products. So we're really excited to have Vidya with us today to share his insights. So Vidya, on to you.
Hey, thanks so much, Ardul. Thanks, Eric, Devika, and the team at GFI and Psycho. Wonderful to be here. And thanks for all the challenge participants, IcePick participants who are in the phase 3 of it. Although I don't know you all personally, I'm here to introduce myself and hopefully get to know each of you during the course of the program itself. Thanks once again for having me here. This is a fantastic challenge indeed. Just to share, I represent Network of Indian Cultural Enterprises, which is NICE.org. So we are about a year-old company. We are a not-for-profit. Our mission essentially is to support in building Brand India by empowering cultural enterprises and entrepreneurs, right? So by way of cultural enterprises, what we mean is any business which leverages Indic knowledge systems, traditions, know-how, systems, and culture, right? That's how we define cultural enterprises as. So what we have so far, the reason we exist primarily is because, if you look at yoga, for example, today is a multi-billion-dollar industry globally, whereas India's share of yoga commerce, if you like it, is very negligible, right? Today, moringa is a superfood in the US and Western places. So was turmeric and curcumin and whatnot, right? A chai latte or a haldi latte sells in Starbucks for about $4, $5, $6, $7, whereas these are all known in grandmom's recipe in Indian kitchens, right? So whenever we speak to people, everybody identifies that we have a treasure trove of knowledge, be it in beauty, wellness, food and beverages, in fashion, in home decor, and there's so much of history steeped in everything that we do in terms of architecture, etc. But there is no viable way to monetize all of this, and therefore we said we want to build an ecosystem. We want to enable investments. We want to nurture entrepreneurs, right? That's our thrust areas. So what have we done so far? In the last 1 year since our formation, we've done about close to 40, 50 hours of programming, right? What we call as NICE Arohana series, which is essentially getting people from the industry. For example, last week we had a session on influencer marketing, right? How do emerging cultural enterprises do growth hacks using content-led marketing techniques, right? A couple of weeks before that, we had investors who are early stage investors, seed level and angel level investors come and talk about how do you raise capital from their likes, okay? Then we had a session on business value proposition. So we've had these are the sort of knowledge series which we call as Arohana. Then we have another set of speaker series called NICE Samvad. For example, we have Chef Sanjeev Kapoor a couple of weeks ago talk about what is Indian cooking, right? So because today Indian cooking is in some ways a melting pot of sorts. We have absorbed from so many different cultures, right, and made it our own. And what does molecular gastronomy mean today in today's context? I'm in Hyderabad. I just came from a meeting with the National Institute of Nutrition. Phenomenal folks. The kind of stuff they produce is like what India eats, right? So we're thinking, what should India eat going forward, right? It's a great discussion considering, the lifestyles have changed over the last 100 years or so, but whereas the food habits also change for good or bad, right? But more nuanced view is that we don't do so much of physical labor as we used to do, because there's so much of knowledge workers amongst us, right? So what does it mean for our, food habits and the nutrient value, all of that stuff, right? And then you have to juxtapose it with, enriching the soil, climate change, etc. And what do we get, right? So it's a fascinating discussion. So what, with GFI and this collaboration, what we intend to accomplish is, as part of one of our vertical in food and beverages, and in some levels, wellness and beauty too, we want to encourage entrepreneurs, people who are already doing something in this space, or people are thinking about doing, like yourself, right? So we want to provide mentorship and accelerate the journey, the entrepreneurial journey. So like I mentioned, along with this speaker series, we also did something called Nice Mantra now, which is a 3-month mentorship program for about 7 interesting cultural enterprises, right? One of them, is an interesting company called Millet Story, which is sort of redefining the way millets are consumed, right? So they're like the Slurp Farm equivalent, you can say, right? But more digital kind of space. There's another company called Beyond Snacks, which wants to popularize air-fried banana chips, right? Another company called Nutty Fox, which is popularizing consumption of makana, right? These are all in the food space, right? In the beverage space, we had to see interesting companies come about, because there's preservation, there's bottling, all of that stuff involved. But we're very gung-ho about how food and beverages, particularly in using Indic knowledge traditions, are changing, right? And then there's a phenomenal consumer demand, as we hear from all these enterprises too, right? And it's backed by third-party capital, be it venture capitalists or angel. There's so many people waiting to invest in viable, attractive business ideas. NICE is always focused on the demand side intervention of things, which is basically able to put together great brand story, positioning the brand, understanding the consumer and building an e-commerce model, using digital technologies to further and shape consumer behavior, right? Nudging consumer behavior through incentivization, right? And then building an art of pitching, right, to be it employees or investors, etc. So these are the various set of activities, and we did a business plan competition earlier. We identified 20 people, we funded about 6 of them. So yeah, so NICE is all about nurturing entrepreneurs, enabling investments, and building an ecosystem with people like GFI and all the iSpeak participants.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vidya, for that quick summary of what NICE is able to offer. I had a couple of follow-up questions from that as well, and then we will get into the networking session, and you can interact with the teams more. And I really would request people who are focusing on indigenous crops to definitely interact with Vidya and introduce yourself, your ideas, and what you're working on, so he's able to get connected with you. But like very rightly Vidya mentioned, right, food is a cultural phenomena, right? And ultimately all of you, no matter if you're working on plant-based fermentation or cultivated technology areas, are trying to create food. You have to understand how to market it, how to tap into different branding strategies, how to understand how to nudge your customers, early adopters to adapt to your products, if you're creating products or if you're creating a specific solution. At the same time, ultimately, even if you're a researcher or a student thinking about contributing your skill sets to a company or a startup, they are selling a product to the market, right? So all of these things are super important for all of you. And I think the programs that Vidya was talking about, for mentorship, for sharing insights, knowledge, and just like the many programs that CIECO mentioned earlier that they are able to host throughout the year, we really hope that depending on your needs, especially people in track 2, depending on your immediate needs, future needs, you're able to get in touch with them, and you're able to perhaps establish some sort of a contact on what are the best areas they can support you in. Having said that, a couple of questions that I had with Dava around So let's just talk about using millets or pulses for making meat or eggs or dairy products, right?
Right.
So, for example, some of the startups you mentioned, which are currently, in your cohort, in your ecosystem, which are focusing on these products, what kind of mentorship or support, for example, can you talk about specific examples about these companies? Because it's a separate sector from, say, arts or goods, etc., right? So maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
I mean, so when it comes to mentorship, right? So the two levels we're doing this, right? So one is through the speaker series, we're exposing the community today, of cultural entrepreneurs, and people are excited about the space to various thought leaders in this space, right? And talk about various issues and challenges that cultural entrepreneurs face in their journey, right? Either they should be doing, or how do you meet those challenges, right? Those are the kind of two streams of thought. When it comes to a mentorship program, it's a very closed door kind of a program. What we did is we had about 5 mentors. We had about 7 or 8 cultural enterprises. We did things like business model canvas, right? Starting from consumer to various stakeholders, right? So what it means is that where is your consumer? What does your consumer want? Therefore, what are the other compulsions and interdependencies? And build that consciously. So when you start the program, how does your BMC look? And when you end the program, how does the BMC look? It changes drastically the way they think about it, right? And then, exercises around pricing, right? Because pricing is an indicator of demand. It's an indicator of position, but it's also realizing demand, right? So in the e-commerce world, how do you nudge consumer behavior? How do you bundle products, right? Somebody comes and wants to buy something for 3,000, and can you sell another product worth a couple of grand for extra 500, right? What does it mean, right? You go to a Montblanc showroom, something is 30K, 40K lakh, but if there is something for 2K, 3K, you might end up buying something, right? What does that tell you, right? So I know these are all not food and beverages particularly, but what does it mean for the online world is what we're trying to establish, right?
Yeah.
Things like helping people think about subscription economy, okay? I'm selling bamboo toothbrush, or I'm selling organic rice, for example. Uh, I have to buy every month, right? It's part of my staple diet, right? But what is stopping me from saying, because as a consumer, I go probably do a monthly purchase, a grocery purchase. What is stopping me from buying an annual purchase? If you can subscribe to a Times of India or an Economist for 5K, 6K, something that is so essential and tasteworthy, what is stopping me from subscribing, right? Every Swiggies of the world are trying it out, right? So that is one area of focus that we do a lot of around and then supply chain, right? So we take examples of Apple, right? Apple's success is not so much engineering, but so much on financial engineering, right? The kind of deals that they have with the suppliers and holding inventory. We talk about those kind of things, right? The working capital management is so important, right? And then, of course, funding and fundraising as such, like who do you pitch it to? How do you profile your investor? Look, I mean, it's 3 months of great fun seeing your name in the paper, but it's lifetime of agony that you have to put up with stuff, right? It's not about negative or just being the devil's advocate. It's about pros and cons of your approach. So I think those are the kind of reality that we want to sort of impart and expose the people to. And then the more important thing is the immense self-belief that people will take after the program. Like, for example, one of the cohorts got into the Axel Atom program. They raised about 500K. 2 of them got into Shark Tank program. Another one is on an expansion spree. So, I mean, I don't claim to have all the credit for their behavior, but before, after, if you have to look at it, and they say they thank and they have taken something, I feel we've done our bit in their journey. Hope that answers. Yeah.
Absolutely. It makes a lot of sense with that. And I think we are focusing on a lot of these things through our sessions in phase 3 as well for the teams. We are going to focus on business model canvassing. We are going to focus on business strategy, unit economics, aspects, art of pitching, et cetera, during our sessions as well. So looking forward to our breakout session now. And basically what we are going to do is we're going to distribute in different rooms so that you can start interacting with each other. Having said that, thank you so much, Eric and Vidya, for joining us today. And we'll stop the recording now. But if you're an attendee who was not able to join today and is watching the recording, please make sure you attend next session so that we can put you in the breakout rooms as well. We won't be able to record the breakout room sessions. But thank you so much for joining the phase 3 introductory webinar. And we'll now move on to a breakout room kind of a format. So we will stop the recording.